Hi, my name's Isaac, and this is a brand new 2021 Ford Bronco, and today I'm gonna review it for you guys. I am absolutely thrilled to finally be able to get my hands on one of these things because they've been so hard to find. So without further ado, let's get started. Before we begin, I want to thank Koch 33 Ford for allowing me to review this vehicle. For all your Ford needs, you can visit their website, koch33ford.net. Starting out up front on the Bronco, you're not going to have any Ford badges up here, but rather it says Bronco spelled across the grille. Then you'll have two tow hooks down here and full LED headlights and incandescent turn signals on the front. I personally think that this is a fantastic look, and I'm super happy that Ford went with this heritage themed design rather than going modern and very slopey with the lines on it. Very similar to the new Chevy Blazer, which isn't a bad SUV, but I think in the Jeep Wrangler-esque segment, this was the best possible thing that Ford could have done. One of the really unique features this Bronco has is that it has tie-down straps on the hood. So for example, if you had a kayak that extended past the roofline, you could tie it down on there. Moving underneath the hood in the Bronco, this particular model is powered by a 2.7 liter EcoBoost V6, making 310 horsepower and 400 pound-feet of torque. This thing is incredibly fast off of the line. Moving to the profile of the Bronco, starting with the little Easter eggs that are littered about this. You get the little Bronco logo here in the headlight, and there is tons of those hidden all around the truck. You can see down here on the beautiful 17-inch steel wheels, the Bronco logo is also in there, again, foregoing the Ford logo for the Bronco badge. And then these wheels have 265 70R General ATX tires wrapped around them. This Bronco is a serious off-roader. You have rock plates right here, and it has 8.4 inches of ground clearance, which is really cool. That's about most of the mid-size pickup trucks ground clearance. And then obviously you can also get this with even higher ground clearance. And then this is very mod friendly. This is a black diamond trim, and up here in the windshield it says Bronco established 1966 right above the VIN, which I think is another really cool touch. And then you have some Ford Safety Sense technology built there into the windshield as well. Another really cool nifty feature of the Bronco, which I absolutely love, is that the mirrors are built onto like the front of the frame. You can see they are not attached to the door like in most every other car. The reasoning for that is this has removable doors and a removable roof. And so if you took the doors off, you'd also be taking the mirrors off. The Jeep Wrangler has that problem and has had that problem for many years. So Ford thought ahead and they mounted the mirrors up here. So when you take the doors off, which are borderless, as you can see, very easy to detach, you're not also taking the mirror off, which is just such a genius, clever idea. Moving here to the door handle, it is black plastic, a regular keyhole, no keyless entry on this particular model. And then you do have the Ford code system. So what you could do is you can lock your keys in the car if you want. And then let's say you're going to the beach or you're going snowboarding or something, and you just don't want to take your keys with you and you want to lock everything in the glove box. You can lock the keys inside, and then you can punch a little code in, and that will lock the vehicle, and then you just have to hit the code again, and that will unlock the Bronco. Very nice little touch here. And then back here you have your gas cap. It is capless, which is really nice. So I guess it's not a gas cap, it's just the little gas door. And then moving to the back here, you have your spare tire, and this has the backup camera integrated into it. I really love that. It's very clever placement on there. And then you have two tow hooks down here and your Bronco badge. And then on the rear here, this is the only place on the exterior that it actually says Ford. So that's an interesting touch as well. And another interesting touch is your third brake light is up here. So if you have the spare tire mounted, obviously you can still have that federally mandated third brake light. The rear gate pops open from the bottom, but it is a two-way system. So it pops open there, and then what you can do is you lift up the top for full access into the rear. And you have pretty decent cargo space back here. With the second row seats folded down, you'll have 52.3 cubic feet of storage capacity. Even on this two-door model, that's pretty good. And then here you'll have your bag for the hard top. So you can take those front two panels off, and we'll look at that a little bit later. But when you take them off, you can actually store them in the back here with this carrying case, which is really cool that Ford includes that. That is not offered on other competitors. You'll have another Bronco logo right here, and on the tie downs you have a little lasso logo, which is really neat. And then we can lift this up, and that is going to give you your spare tire jack. Additionally, in the back, before we fully move into the interior, on the right side you do have a 12-volt socket, and there is a little LED with the Bronco logo also in that. Stepping into the interior of the Bronco, it's incredibly well appointed even on this mid-trim model. You have these really nice soft touch textures here and up here, so when you're resting your arm, it's not uncomfortable. You also have a pretty cool door handle and lock and unlock. Pretty simple though. You get a little cargo net that makes the door a lot lighter to be able to remove if you ever wanted to. And then driver's side grab handle check. This Bronco does have it, very similar to the Land Rover Defender's grab handle. I really like that, and it's got this cool recessed air vent with blue accents. I really like the blue accenting around this Bronco. You have it stitched into the seats here. It's really, really cool. You'll have Bronco on the floor mat as well, and then down here you'll have your lighting controls, your hood release, and your electronic parking brake. Moving up into the Bronco, you close the door here, and turning the Bronco on, you get this very large gauge screen, which gives you pretty much everything you need. And obviously you have your off-roading specs if you want to change different things like your status. You can do pitch and roll settings in here, which is really, really cool. This Bronco is really built for not just the city, but also off-roading. Tire pressure, turbo boost. What is this? Night Rider turbo boost. That is also a setting on here. That's really cool. And then you also have your cruise control and your volume on here as well. That's really nice to see. And then you'll have your traditional, everything's just all on this stock. So your windshield wipers and your headlights are all on this one stock. No stock on this side. And this is a push button start Bronco, as I believe all of these are, unless the manual transmission. No, the manual transmission might be push button start as well, because I test drove a Mustang in manual that had push button. You get a nice size screen in here. There is an optional larger one, but it is running the newest sync, if I'm not mistaken, and this is really, really spiffy, very quick and responsive. You do get Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, as you can see, incorporated into this. And then even the hard touch plastics on here feel just really secure and firm. They don't feel cheap. I've definitely been in some other vehicles in the competition and in general that just do not have the same firmness that this Bronco has. And then down here you have your AC controls and your volume for the touchscreen. Up here I really like this. You have these cool buttons right here. Your hazards, your traction control off, and then your locking diff. It's really cool to be able to hit these nice rubber buttons, and then obviously this whole thing can fill out if you get the higher trims. And then up here you have some auxiliary switches, so if you want to add additional things, Ford was thinking ahead with that one. They knew you probably would on your Bronco, so they've included those, and you can hook stuff up to that, like light bars and things like that. A pretty traditional mirror, and then you do have your lights up here, your lighting controls, and then obviously we will get to taking off the roof as a process in a minute. You know what, just really quick, you know what ticks me off about these newer touchscreens? I mean, they're very nice, very fluid, they work really well, but there's no CD player anymore. What the heck happened to the CD player? I mean, how else am I gonna listen to my 80-disc Adventures in Odyssey collection? Anyway, moving down here to the shifter, again, you do get the Bronco emblem in here, and then it does have the kind of auto manual plus and minus if you want to downshift and upshift manually. You can do that in here, and then you get a Ford stamp, and it says where it was built, which is really cool. And then you have your GOAT modes, go over any terrain. So you can select 2-wheel drive, 4 high, 4 low, and then in the screen here, you can go, yes, I know I need to close the passenger door. You can change your different modes. Of course, it's not going to do it. There we go. So I can turn this, and you can see sport mode, and you can see eco and normal, and all the different colors of the wind. So sand, and it's shifting. Oh yeah, 4-wheel shift. I can hear it actually shifting in person. That's pretty neat. And so, yeah, I'm just going to turn it back to, we're not going through any mud or ruts or slippery terrain. I'm just going to turn it back to, I think, to eco. Yeah. When we get this on the highway, we want to make sure that this is the best fuel economy, because we have some bad roads in PA, but our roads aren't that bad. But that pretty much wraps up this section. You do get a really nice grab handle on here, and then you have the other one there, so 2 grab points, which is really nice for the passenger, and then it does spell Bronco out in the dashboard. Very nice layout in here. I just think overall Ford just nailed the look and design of this really, really well. Oh, one more thing down here next to your 2 cup holders, you do have the window controls, the borderless window controls, because again, it would be a little bit more difficult to have all the window controls and stuff on the actual door. So they put them right in here. And then you also have the mirror controls right down here, so you can switch and move the mirrors, which is very nice. Let's step into the back really quick, because you'd be surprised. This has some pretty amazing legroom. Moving to the rear seats in the Bronco, there is a surprising amount of room back here. I'm 5'10", and I have pretty good legroom. That's a little bit further forward than I would normally sit, but even still, this is very nice and spacious back here. Again, you'll get a little cargo net area, and you can put stuff on here as well. Ford really made this just super rugged and very cool in a lot of different ways. It says no step on here, I imagine because they do not want you to step on this. I don't know if they have had problems with people stepping on the center console in the past. And then down here, you do have 2 USBs. One of them is a USB-C, and the other is a regular 3.0 USB. And then you have another Bronco logo back here. And these seats are incredibly comfortable, really, really cool. And, you know, even for the back, it's very nice and spacious. You also have cup holders on both sides back here. But you could definitely spend a long car ride in the back. Before we go to the driving segment, I just want to show you guys really quick how to take the roof off. So removing the roof is actually really simple. There's just 3 L-shaped brackets that you have to pop off, and then there's a pull-down bar that clicks off, and then you can pop that up. And even with the roof racks on, this comes up fairly easily, and then you can take this right out and put it inside the back of the Bronco. Alrighty, driving the new Bronco. About 4 months ago, I drove the Bronco Sport, and it left me wanting for more. Wasn't a bad SUV, but it wasn't my type of SUV, and I was really excited to finally be able to drive this. And now we're here, and I am, and we're gonna get it to a straightaway here, and pedal to the metal. Wow, this 2.7 liter really, really opens up. My word, this thing flies. I'm actually really thankful to be able to review this in the 2-door model, because that, I feel, is the closest thing to the original Bronco. I think the 4-door is probably going to sell the best, but this 2-door is really spiffy. I really like it. You don't hear that word a lot, spiffy. I think it looks really nice, and it handles really nice. It's incredibly smooth, and all the textures, as I mentioned in the interior segment, feel really nice. You know, the steering wheel feels really nice. I think it's polyurethane, but it's still really well textured. And the doors are super nice, and the dash just feels built. You know, I've been in a lot of vehicles in my time reviewing, and there's just been some really cheap cars that I've been in, and I think I was worried that Ford may rush the production of these Broncos to meet the incredibly popular demand of them and sacrifice quality for that quantity. But I'm happy to report with this Bronco, it is built incredibly well, and the turning radius is so nice on this little two-door. I'm not in a lot of vehicles that have a turning radius this tight, so this is really fun. The responsiveness is incredible. It picks up like that, and this is a little bit more responsive than a Jeep Wrangler. I actually recently reviewed a Jeep Wrangler. That video is not going to come out for a little bit though, and I can definitely say that I like this Bronco more than that Wrangler, just because of how this handles and how the interior textures feel. I love this thing. It's so much fun, and I think it's because it's so cozy and so tight in here, and it reminds me of my truck. Like, I adore my truck. If my truck had a sunroof, that would be it. Like, that's the last thing I'd like. The fact that I can reach my hand up here and there's you know, no roof is just so much fun. And my sister has a convertible, so I really love driving the convertibles, and this reminds me almost like the Jeep Gladiator. It's really cool in that regard. So that's gonna wrap up this driving segment, but man, I absolutely love this thing. Okay, so before we go, I thought this could be a fun segment. This is my friend Caleb, and I brought him along to review the Bronco because he owned a 1991 Bronco for about 4 years, and he wanted to see how the original one he owned stacked up to this new generation of Bronco. And so you guys always hear my driving opinions, so I figured I'd hand this one over to Caleb to get his driving opinions on this Bronco and what he thinks of it, because he knows how one of the previous generations of the Bronco handled. So does this feel like the old Bronco did?
Yes and no. I mean, it definitely feels newer, not as bouncy, definitely faster, handles a lot nicer. But that's all because it's a new car, and you know, mine had its little things with it.
You think that this lives up to the heritage that the Bronco has? I mean, styling-wise, definitely, but handling-wise, you would say so as well?
Yeah,
would that be a fair,
I would say.
Yeah.
It just handles tight like the original ones did.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that was something that people really like stood out back then, but it stood out to me that that's something that you can turn in this car and then keep turning past the point where you thought you couldn't.
Yeah.
So it definitely, you know, it feels great. It feels
cool.
Amazing.
That's really good to hear. Okay, well, thank you, Caleb. That was his opinion. You heard mine. So hopefully this video was really informative, and that's going to wrap this segment up. That is going to conclude my review of this 2021 Ford Bronco. Thank you guys so much for all the support. I really, really appreciate it. If you'd like to support me additionally, I did open up a Patreon recently. I'll leave a link in the description below. I have some behind the scenes videos on there and some exclusive content if you'd like to subscribe to that. And if you've noticed, I also have some of my merch on. I just opened a merch store too, which is crazy. I never thought I would ever make merchandise for my YouTube car review channel, but I do have that, and that will also be available at the link in the description below. I also like to offer prayer requests. If anyone has a prayer request, you can leave that in the comment section. I am a Christian, and I love to listen and to pray for you guys. It's been one of the biggest blessings in my life to be able to talk with you guys and really be real with you guys. Again, I don't think I ever thought I was going to do that on a pickup truck SUV car review channel. I just never thought that God would bless me with that, but he has, and so I wanted to give him the glory by taking prayer requests for you guys. Another way I like to give God the glory is I like to close with a weekly Bible verse. This week's is Psalm 24, 3-4. Who can ascend his holy hill? Who can approach his holy place? Only the one with clean hands and a pure heart, who does not bow down to idols or swear by false gods. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you next time.